coming into your basic stance tonight. Or if you're watching this on the replay on YouTube, tonight, this morning, this afternoon, whatever time it is where you are, let's spread out through our toes, relax and release down through feet and ankles. Sweep relaxation through the full length of your legs, bend through your knees. Tuck the hips in neutral. And if you recall, last session we spoke about neutral through the hips. And so let's go through that process that we tried last time of rocking the hips back and forth until you find a point somewhere in between the two, somewhere in the middle, where the tailbone can face slightly further down towards the ground, and the belly button can travel up and back on a diagonal towards your spine. But in that position, ideally, if you found neutral, certainly roughly for now, you want to be able to relax through the muscles of your legs at the same time. So if you feel that there's a contraction seeking to come through, I'm just going to admit somebody into our live class here, and it's one of our friends. I'm going to just take off the waiting room. So the waiting room is now disabled. In case anybody has a connection issue, you'll be able to come straight in, and I will monitor who that is coming in. So keeping the legs nice and relaxed. So then sweeping upwards through the back, waist, belly, and into your chest. Sweep that relaxation all the way around. Enjoy that warm, positive, healing energy as it travels all the way around. Really feel that. And then you can encourage that to grow in abundance with positive breath. Expand the belly, expand the rib cage, collarbones rise, and as you breathe out, those return gently down. So that way we're fueling the muscles as we use them. We can dance for longer without fatiguing. We can surely dance more elegantly than chest breathing and panting away up here. So just an encouragement to have a little reminder of your breath, something that is all too easy forgotten as you begin to focus on different movements. Let's lift through the rib cage an inch or two. Shoulders come forwards and up. They come all the way back and down. Bring the shoulder blades around your back, slide them down your back. Keep the shoulders low. Nice long, lean, elegant muscles of neck. And encouraging alignment through the full length of spine, crown of the head to the sky as the tailbone sinks to the ground. Breathe in. You can take a wider stance here if you want to. We're going to just bring ourselves into body all that bit more. Down from busy mind, sink down deep into body. With the breath, feel the breath as it flows all the way through every single part of you. So in this session, if you remembered last session, we enjoyed really focusing on anchoring through the upper and lower half of the body. That anchoring technique utilized in what's often known as an isolation. But we know an isolation is the illusion of one part of the body moving, but actually we're using the entire body as one system to create that. We went on and had a lot of fun with slides of the hip. And let's begin to move into those now. Starting off bringing your hip out to one side, through center and out towards the other. And as we use this movement right now to warm up through the muscles of the body, the joints of the body, really opening up through your hips, lengthening through the waist. Let me tell you a little bit more about what we're going to be doing today. So last time we then went on and had a little look at an introduction to a hip drop. And we brought that up towards a basic shimmy. So in this session, we're going to do a little bit of a recap on those movements. We're going to go a bit deeper into that hip drop. We're gonna have a look at hip lifts. And we're also going to begin to explore something known as a figure of 8. So figure of 8 being something that you might have tried before, you might not have had it broken down in such detail, and therefore it's possible that perhaps you hadn't been driving it correctly in the most health-giving way. So coming into center here, an invitation to bring a full body shimmy, to just really bring you deeper down into body. So you can pick this up through a bend through the knees, and you're just gently bending that bit more. Bend, 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 bend. You could also pick this up through the heels, lifting and lowering your heels. So this activates through your calf muscles, the calf muscles known as your second heart. They help to return blood to your heart and boost your circulation around your entire system. So it's a really, really good muscle group to activate as you're warming up, as you're beginning your dance journey. Feel that contraction through there. We're going to release that out in a stretch towards the end, so don't worry about that. Here we go. Let's bring it back to the knees. You can make that faster. You could also bring the breath all the way down through fingertips. Nice. 4, 3, 2, 1. Wow. Bring your hands gently down by your sides. We're going to roll the shoulders all the way around. Make sure that you're in that basic stance. Bring the palms gently in front, facing forwards, perhaps up towards the sky. And with that alignment, just relax through your arms. We're going to bring in that slide through the hip once more. You can bring the hands into that lateral raise that we spoke about. Wow. Nice. So you can make that movement a little bit bigger now, make it slower. This time what we're going to do is we're going to add in that focus of keeping the hip line parallel with the floor. Can you remember how to do that? Just take a little moment to ask yourself, can you remember how to keep the hip line nice and level in a hip slide? All right, so if your answer was by bending the knee and allowing the waist to lengthen, then you are so right. So we're going to keep the hip line level, parallel with the floor, by increasing that bend through the knee each time your hip comes out over that knee. Yes? You can bring the hands together, perhaps here, or up overhead, or just out to the side, but place them somewhere where they're sort of out of the way, but also you can utilize them to create almost like a little frame for yourself so that you can help to stay steady in center as you move through the low half, creating the illusion of isolation. Good, well done, that looks lovely. Yes. Wow. Okay, let's bring the hips into center here. And we're going to start to now move instead through our upper half. So again, you can place the arms wherever you would like them to be. You could choose one of those as an option. And this time, we want to now try keep the shoulders nice and level. Keep the shoulders parallel with the ground. Now have a little think about how we're keeping the shoulders parallel with the ground. How is that happening? As if by magic. That's how you want it to appear anyway. Lots of people, whenever they see belly dance, they think, wow, that looks really, really beautiful, which it is. And then they go and try it themselves. And they try it themselves and they think, oh my gosh, it's a lot harder than I thought it was. And often that's because as the belly dancer, you're creating that illusion that one part of the body's moving. There's a lot of focus, there's a lot of individual muscle contraction, muscle control. It's all happening at once. And so, if done right, you can create the illusion, the appearance, that it's really, really easy, it's so effortless for you. When then when somebody tries it, they think, oh my gosh, how are you even doing that, girl? And you say, no, oh, you know. Let's bring it in, let's do that a little bit faster perhaps. Try to keep the hips steady now. Woo! Well done. All right, so as we did that, we worked, first of all, moving the low half, and then hopefully you started to bring your focus in towards keeping the upper half still as you did that. And then we switched it around and we moved the upper half, and then your focus started to come towards keeping the low half nice and still. So that was a process that we spoke about in the last session, talking about something known as, can you remember? Pop it in the comments there if you can remember what it's actually called. I'll dive in there and answer that as soon as I can. So what we're going to be doing in this technique is activating 3 sets of muscles, either in your low half or your upper half. So I teach it as 3 sets of muscles because 3 on the low half, 3 on the upper half is easier to remember that way, and also you're not missing anything out. And so if we wanted to, let's keep it in the order we did it. So let's say you wanted to move through the low half and keep the upper half still. So just a quick recap, you're going to utilize the muscles of upper abs. So where your rib cage meets, come down about 1 inch to 2 inches from there. Just give that a little prod. Alternatively, have a little look for that playlist on YouTube for the 1-minute washboard abs challenge, and you'll find lots of exercises in there that target the specific abdominal muscles. So there we go, activated, boom, yes. And then next we're gonna activate, I like this tune, and then we're gonna activate next through the muscles of the back. If you remember, we said almost like squeezing a lemon between your shoulder blades. So just activating, you could do that pec deck at the gym, is the opposing muscle force. On the return back outwards, you're activating through here. So you're squeezing the shoulder blades together, and remember, keep them low down your back at the same time. So one way to activate that would be upright row. Or alternatively, you can move into a shoulder shimmy, which is in and of itself a belly dance movement. It's really good fun. So let's have a little bit of fun with that in this movement. So if you just bring your hands out in front and imagine that you're pressing your hands on maybe the wall or the mirror, or hey, since it's been those lockdown days, maybe you pressing your hands against the fridge door, or whatever it might be. So we're here, or maybe that's just me. Was that just me? So we've got one shoulder forwards, one shoulder back. I've just given myself away there, haven't I? One shoulder forwards, one back. Now, what you might find wants to happen is medial deltoid on the top of the shoulder wants to lift like this. You say, no, 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 no. Relax it down. We don't need you right now. We only need anterior and posterior deltoids, front and the back of the shoulder. So you can speed this up. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. A little bit faster. 1 yana, 2 yana, 1 yana, 2 yana. Woo! Really feel that. Try to keep your hands still as you press against the fridge door. Or anything you like. Maybe you can think of something really silly. These are the ways that well, certainly, at least for me, these are the ways that I tend to remember things. If you give them a story or a silly analogy, you remember it so much more. And when you remember it in here, you remember it in here. All right, so we've activated through here, and we also had a ridiculous conversation. Very good. So we've activated through here, here, and here. Yes? Okay, so this is the way that we're going to insert that word, if you know what it's called, as a concept, so that when we move through our low half now, the upper half stays still. Now, of course, you will get a little bit of movement within there because we are actually moving our body in order to keep it still. Does that make sense? Of course it does. So you're contracting your muscles, which changes the shape of the muscles, in order to keep that part of the body still. So there we go. So you've got contraction happening up here, and you've got an element of relaxation happening down here. But when you look at it, it looks reversed. All right, let's biomechanics. Wow, let's turn it around the other way now, so that we're actually going to be. So what are we doing? So we're going to be moving through the upper half and keeping the low half still. So remember those muscles that we said were our second heart? We're going to activate those now. We're going to activate the calf muscles. You're going to activate through your thighs. But as you activate through the thighs, I want you to try and visualize just the upper thigh, okay? That way you're going to be encouraged to relax your knee. So visualize just contracting through upper to mid thigh, although we know that they're all connected as one piece. So there we go. So we're contracting through calf muscles, the thighs, and can you think of what the third one is? Within the low half of the body, what might that be? All right, if you guessed this, pelvic floor, you're so right. So it's that hammock-shaped set of muscles all the way on the underside of your body. We're gonna bring those muscles in together and draw them upwards into your body, up towards your spine. So it's a contraction through there that's gonna keep your hips rooted and grounded in neutral. All right, so activate through those muscles for me now. Your calf muscles, your thighs, and pelvic floor. All right, so feel the strength now. Whoa. Feel yourself really strong in your low half. Relax through your feet. I should mention that because often what happens whenever you say this to somebody to contract these areas, the toes go and grip onto the floor really, really hard because the floor might move away. The floor has you. You're held. Don't worry. The floor is good. It's got you. Trust in that. Stay within that knowledge and just relax your feet. Relax your feet. That's going to give you a really good base, a really good place to move from, because we also need relaxation in order to move. So we're strong through here, and now when we come into this movement, we're sliding all the way through, but we are so much more that word, that concept, what we're doing through our low half. Let's try that a bit faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well done. So this process We use this all the time in belly dance. It is one of the, if not the, fundamental. And bringing your knowledge and understanding to that place of, well, which muscles am I contracting? Which am I relaxing as targets? Then your quality of movement just instantly in that moment, it skyrockets. All right, let's bring that into the center. Well done. Help yourself to a little spot of hydration if you would like one. And we're going to move on and have a little bit of fun with that hip drop that we spoke about. So you're going to be in your basic stance. Itchy nose. That means like a surprise or a fallout, doesn't it? I'm going to hope it's a surprise. Here we go. I'm going to drop, 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 drop. So the hips are in neutral. You're activated through pelvic floor. Drop, 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 drop. So what you'll find as you go into this movement, certainly initially as you begin your dance journey, but actually maybe if you're returning to dance after a break, or maybe just if you've accidentally picked up some, let's say, bad habits, what you might find is that one side of your body wants to lead all the time because perhaps that's your dominant side, or perhaps because of the way that you use your body. Perhaps you have a job that specifically requires one part of your body to move more than another. So just be aware of that as we go through. And in your hip drop, this can actually begin to creep into your hip drop, where one side of the body is really strong and defined, and that's staccato. Remember the last time we spoke about staccato movements, how they act as punctuation? One side of your body might be so sharp and strong, boom, but the other side might be a little bit like, meh, I'm just here, I'm just tagging along with my friend. So what we can do to make sure that both sides of the body are really strong within staccato movements is use a technique where we contract another part of the body to assist. So let's just have a little look. So we got that basic hip drop. So this technique I'm showing you right now is sort of, let's say, basic to intermediate. It's somewhere in and around here. So if you've not done the basic hip drop before, just stay with that movement there. And what we're doing is we're sitting down into the movement, bring your hips back, knees behind the toes. You've got big bend through your knees, great big bend through your knees, and you're bringing the bend of the knees even bigger as you drop the hip down. So you use that bend of the knee to act as the lever to drop the hip down. Okay, very good, very good. So with that in place, then what we're going to do is on the opposing side of the body, we're going to contract. So let's say we're dropping through our hip on the right side. You guys seeing this as the right? Yes. So dropping through the hip on the right, what we're going to do is we're actually going to squeeze the glute on the left. So you're going to drop and squeeze at the same time. Okay, so what you've got is relaxation and contraction. Those opposing forces. Newton's law in motion. Here we go. so let me find, oh, here we go. So we're gonna come into neutral there. You've got your hip drop going. Let's just work with that regular hip drop. 4, 3, 2, 1. This time we're gonna contract. Let's try it again on that side. So you're gonna drop and contract. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Let's try the other side, shall we? So you're gonna drop through this side now, contract through this side. We're gonna drop. So first let's just drop, drop. So this is it without drop, drop, drop. Now we're gonna try squeeze through the glute on the right side as we drop through the left. Squeeze, 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 Nice. Well done. I'll let you have a play around with that technique. It works for various different movements, but I would say start off maybe with that hip drop. You could also try it on a single leg, dropping your hip down and contracting through the other side. This works really well as well. However, like I say, if you feel this is a step too far for you at the moment, just bring it right back. Literally just work with the mechanism, the biomechanics, that technique of dropping the hip down in its basic. Wow. Help yourself to a little spot of hydration, and then we're going to move on. So with this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you could add that in right now if you want to. Woo! Center. Wow. Amazing. So as soon as you bring that up to speed with that glute squeeze in a shimmy, there is so much more definition. It takes a lot of practice until you can actually bring in that glute squeeze at speed like that. So have fun with that, have fun with that. So we mentioned a figure of 8 then, so help yourself to some hydration if you would like some, and then join me in a second. We're gonna have a little look at this as a little intro. All right, so we worked with staccato movement there, really strong, punctuated. The other side, the flip side to that is serpentine movement, fluid, flowing, sensual, slinky. And so with that, we're gonna work with a figure of 8. So the figure of 8, I'm just gonna give you an intro into this time around. We're gonna go into more depth on the figure of 8 in the next session. Looking forward to that already. So the figure of 8, we call it a figure of 8. Imagine drawing an 8 in the sky. Yeah? Or in the air. And then, so what we're gonna do here is we're gonna take that 8, I want you to flip it round. So it's actually now an infinity sign. It's an infinity sign. There is no beginning, there is no end. If there was a beginning or an end, we could assume it's in the middle, okay? So for our purposes, the beginning and the end are in the middle. Gotcha. Right, okay, so we're gonna take that infinity sign now. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take that infinity sign, we're gonna flip it down onto the floor. So imagine, and you could, if you fancy it, actually get a gigantic piece of something and actually draw a figure of 8 on top of that, and then you can stand on that. Be careful not to slide if you're using something though. Okay, and so we're on top of that figure of 8. We are standing with our hips pointing directly down into the center, that cross point of that figure of 8 or infinity sign. Now, since it's on the floor, we're gonna be working, that lets you know that we're gonna be working on a horizontal level. It's a horizontal figure of 8. These are really fun and so good for your body. All right, with the hips in neutral, what I want you to do now is twist through your waist. And as you twist through your waist, you're bringing one hip forwards. And then we're gonna slide the hip forwards. Then we're gonna travel it, twist round through the waist, bring your hip all the way towards the back. Well done. Then we're gonna slide diagonal forwards, twist round towards the back. We're gonna slide and twist. Slide, 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 twist. One, two, three, four. 4, 3, 2, 1. Wow! Step back. center. Slide. Top. Slide. Bring it forwards. Wow. Amazing. Bring one hand towards sacred life force energy space down in it, womb. One hand in towards your heart space. Feel the connection between the two. Enjoy that sensation of being connected, more connected deeply to you. Breathing in. And as you breathe out, we can raise our hands up high. Bring them all the way round towards the side. Raise the hands up high, bend through your knees. Onto one side now. We're going to lengthen all the way through. Keep the hips in neutral, tuck your hips under, use your glutes. Take it to the other side. Into center there. We can walk the feet inwards. Remember I said we'd stretch out through our calves. Press your heel down into the ground as you pick up a lunge through that front leg. Keep the hips in neutral, really lengthening out through that back leg as you extend through the leg, but also releasing through the thigh and the hip flexor as you bring your hips neutral. Deep breath here. As you breathe out, lift through your heel, return your foot, take it to the other side. Really lengthening through, bring the hips neutral, tuck them under. Deep breath here. As you breathe out, returning that foot into center. Bring both hands out in front. Bring both hands out here. Bring your thumbs down together. And these fingers, you're gonna bring them in. Love you. If you've enjoyed this video, please remember to like, subscribe, and hit notifications so you can be informed of when the next video goes up. If you'd like to support the creation of these videos, remember you can head along to patreon.com/Little Egypt Studio, where you'll find a community of other enjoyers of these videos. See you soon. Bye.